Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Your Miami Heat back on the practice court today as they are getting ready for Game 2 of their first round series against the Boston Celtics. And today, Erik Spoelstra was not in the mood for what the kids call nonsense. And so the Caleb Martin thing is definitely snowballed in a dumb fashion. I think part of this stuff is just like escalated. I don't mean to be one of these old men that says social media, makes everything worse. Because look, quite frankly, I am of a fan that was on social media all the time. All the time, I was on Heat Twitter back in the day when you're fighting against everybody in the Big Three era, and you're pissed at everybody, and you're mad at everybody. You think everybody's out to get you. But as I've grown and I don't have as much time for it as I used to, kind of get in, get out. But what you notice is just like I almost want to say like the sophistication of propaganda and things that are nonsense. It has almost gotten to an impressive level of the way people are able to troll between fake mic'd ups, between the montages, between the edits, all that stuff has made things very, very weird. But Erik Spoelstra was asked about the Caleb Martin situation. I got one guy tagged me on a clip of WEEI today that was like, Scalabrine, he makes some points. O'Keefe. I tell you, Murphy, he makes points, old Scal. He's not just making things up. Scal's and his pals. So Brian Scalabrine, who completely manufactured this, and really on some levels like owes Caleb Martin an apology. Erik Spoelstra was asked about it today by Will Manso, who is a class personified when it comes to the media. And Spoelstra's like, I don't even feel like this is worth addressing.
Maybe it was the extra day that people needed a story, but there's been a lot of talk about the foul for Caleb on Jason. What was your viewpoint of that foul? Did it look like a regular foul? Was there anything more than that in your eyes?
No, and I don't even think it's worth addressing. I get it. Everybody gets emotional. You ask fans on one side how they view the play. You've asked fans on our side, how they view the play, and you're going to get two totally different viewpoints on that. That's the playoffs. That's the fun part also for fan bases. It was an irrational assessment on our view of what actually happened, and the players are fine. None of that is, all the outside, noise or anything like that is not going to decide the series or the game. This is good, clean, tough, physical playoff basketball, and always has been with Boston and us. It's not going over the top. The league doesn't need to look into anything more on either side, put extra eyes on it. This is just tough, competitive basketball. This is what everybody wants. This is what the fans want, the players want, teams want, and even the league. They want this level of competition, that they're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get what Spo's saying, that fans can be irrational and understand. But, like, in all honesty, there could be some jackass from Boston who's like, he wants to be a hero, and either he says something really nasty to Caleb Martin that's undeserved, or you hope does, you hope that doesn't happen. But even like a dumbass who would try and do something because this. I know that some people thought that he had, locked his Twitter account. That's been like that for a while. But, the fact that you would have to deal with that because some loudmouth jackal goes up on his post-game show and claims something that you didn't do. And even Joe Mazzulla today was like listening back, that was basically his assessment. Don't do that. I'm Jaylen Brown. I swear I'm tough. And then Joe Mazzulla was like, yeah, I didn't see anything intentional. And Caleb Martin reiterated today, like, I'm not out here like trying to hurt people. But like you look, even like, some of the dipsticks from Barstool are out here. They're like, oh yeah, you remember this play from months ago when Caleb Martin got near Jason Tatum? It's like, hey guys, Jason Tatum's not in bubble wrap. He's not immune to being touched on a basketball court. That's not what happens. Like it's not like he's in a red jersey at a football training camp. So stop treating him like he's a baby. That's I guess the thing about all of this is we're sitting here and we're treating this guy like he was fine. He bounced back up immediately. Good on him. Showed him he wasn't rattled by anything or made uncomfortable by anything. Boom. Moves on to the next play. And yet everybody has to harp on this for days. And I don't know if it's because people don't think the series is going to be competitive. I don't know if it's because people are just blind idiots, or we just live in an echo chamber dumb world that's there. But getting to the game of it, Erik Spoelstra, I thought had some interesting things to say about this when it comes to this matchup between the Celtics and the Heat. And a lot has been made of the zone and the whole idea, can the Heat find different methods? Do they have to guard their yard more? Do they have to, be even more physical with Boston? Like, what is the method that you go to try and stop this team? And I thought Spo, like he typically does, had a poignant thing where he goes, no scheme is going to save the Miami Heat.
No, we have to do a better job. I mean, we've never been just a only protect the paint rim at all costs. This is more dynamic than what you typically see because of the number of guys that can hurt you from behind the three-point line. So it always just goes back to your fundamentals and wrapping your mind around doing difficult things. And that's where we've always been at our best. It's more of a mentality. It's a mindset. There will be, some things, schemes throughout the course of the game, but schemes can't save you. You're going to have to get to guys. You're going to have to make multiple efforts. Going to have to do things that are necessary that you might not have to do in a normal regular season game against other teams. That's the way it is, and that's the challenge. And our guys are up for it, and it's a matter of just getting to the game and doing it.
I think that's one of those things, too, where people always think, and I'm sure Spo will have some type of adjustment that he's going to have to bring, but a lot of this he always says is it's about intent. It's about intent, and he's used that term a lot this year because he's used the term, burning calories, that we didn't burn a lot of calories, and that he's really harped on this year about you have to do quote unquote tough things, and feeling like you let Boston, whether you play zone, play man, you can't do it unless you really commit to it and do it well. And even then, maybe still you'll get beat, but typically, and he'll call this the karma of the game. Typically, if you feel like you play these things the right way, some things will bounce your way. And I think for the Miami Heat, they walk in there, they get down 14-0. The crowd's crazy, the crowd's shaking. And then even the loose balls, there weren't many of them in second chance points. There weren't many of them, but the ones that were there felt like backbreakers. And you can't afford that in a series like this. You can't afford to let Boston get those marginal plays on top of what they're already capable of getting. So all that very interesting stuff from Erik Spoelstra coming into this matchup. I think we can all now move on from the Caleb Martin thing. It was dumb to begin with. And Caleb actually had a funny, he had an interesting point. I saw the quote from Will Wentz. He goes, "Nobody's calling code red if this is reversed." Where it's like if I were to get hit on, if I were to get hit in a an overzealous way, nobody's saying this stuff. We're only saying this because it's Jason Tatum, and he's right. He's right. Like this is a classic. Like, oh, you're on your way to closing things out. Your stars are still out there because you couldn't put the Heat away down 30. You still let him sneak back in there and get into it and make it a game. And so because of that, he was even in the game in the first place. It's for everybody who was killing the Heat for being in the situation they were with the play-in, for even having Jimmy Butler in a play-in game because they were in the play-in game. That kind of speaks to it and those chances of things. It was an unfortunate thing. Glad everybody's okay. Kind of time to move on from it, and let's get to a game two that, from the Heat standpoint, they need to be a lot more competitive in.